So the introduction for the effect of asbestos on indoor air quality. Asbestos is a mineral rock that has been mined identically to other minerals such as iron, lead, and copper. It has already been utilized for various of commercial and industrial applications because of its high resistance to heat and deterioration. When asbestos was crushed, instead of forming dust particles, it divided into million fibrils when the production process. Whenever asbestos fibers are inhaled, it can bring serious health issues. This is because there is no such thing as a safe level of asbestos exposure. The higher the probability of suffering an asbestos-related disease. Asbestos is a scarring of the lung that leads respiratory issues and heart failure. Asbestosis is an illness that can cause workers who manufacture or use asbestos products and are exposed to extremely high level of asbestos. So we can conclude asbestos is one of the materials that affect the indoor air quality. We can see in building materials such as roofing, shingles, ceilings, and floor tiles. Paper products and asbestos cement products were all made of asbestos. For friction products such as automobile clutch, brake, and transmission parts is also include asbestos. Widely, asbestos was used in heat-resistant fabric, packaging, gasket, and coatings.
Okay, my name is Afiq Hamizan bin Syaharudin. I am from BMM H1/2. For my part, subtopic 1, concentration of asbestos affect air quality in a building. Okay, concern regarding the danger of asbestos in building first surfaced in the late 1970s. The merged presence of asbestos building was considered to result in dramatically high asbestos airborne concentrations, posing measurable hazard of asbestos disease to building occupier and maintenance employee. The most serious asbestos health risk arise from the deterioration of asbestos that already has been placed, incorrect removed or stored, as well as the asbestos containing a product. The already of this material has contaminated the air with asbestos particles, the majority of which are responsible fiber. The air sampling hence are ahead to the requirement of Nation Institute of Occupier Safety and Health (NIOSH) method 7400 and the Asbestos Hazard Emergency Response Act (AHERA). The sample are assessed by using transmission electron microscopic TEM. As we can see, the TEM machine from the below of this slide, and the result of the asbestos sample with 200 nm. Okay, we move to next. There are a few types of structure were categorized. Okay, such as school, university, uh, commercial building, and public structure. Okay, because the percentage of asbestos in different buildings are not same due to building size, how much asbestos have been used, ventilation and exhaust system. Uh, there are nearly 100,000 individuals die each year because of asbestos related to lung cancer, mesothelioma, and asbestosis as the result of occupational exposed to this asbestos material. So that's all from my slide. We continue with Subtopic 2.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alright, first of all, my name is Ahmad Asyraf bin Amil. Okay, I would like to present about subtopic number 2, which is health impact of asbestos in polluted area. Alright, first of all, asbestos is a fibrous material that can be found in the ground, in mines, all over the world in a number of mineralogical forms, including actinolite, amosite, anthophyllite, chrysotile, crocidolite, and tremolite, and among others. Okay, there are a few health impact of asbestos which can induce respiratory and oncological disorder in this general population. Okay, for example, fibrotic asbestosis. Actually, asbestosis is a type of pulmonary fibrosis involving progressive scarring of lung tissue. Asbestosis is not a cancerous disease, but it does indicate a person was exposed to enough asbestos to be at risk of developing asbestos-related lung cancer and pleural mesothelioma cancer. Okay, next is neoplastic processes, which is malignant mesothelioma, and lastly lung cancer. So the risk of asbestos disease might relate to the first one is environment exposure. This is defined as localized exposure caused by living near asbestos producing industries or mines, or by residing in contaminated urban or industrial area. It can also be described as any asbestos exposure that occurs while living in a city with asbestos processing plants. Okay, next is human cause and natural cause. These two are the examples, which is pollution by industrial sites, presence of asbestos in buildings and areas where there are natural outcrops of asbestos like minerals. So the lastly is general population. General population means that it can be infectious and it can be infected to others, especially family members who have not those diseases. I think that's all from me. With that, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Laing and my metric number is B091810097. For this topic, I'll be presenting on the subtopic 3, which is 4 main diseases related to exposure of asbestos material. The first one is the pleural disease. Pleural plaque and pleural thickening are non-cancerous conditions affecting the outer lining of the lungs, or also known as the pleura. The pleural plaque are small areas of scarring which have thickened on the pleura. They do not cause any symptom but are an indicator of asbestos exposure. Pleural thickening is a more serious condition. The next sickness disease is related to exposure of asbestos material is mesothelioma. Mesothelioma is a cancer of the lining of the lungs, or more rarely the lining of the abdomen, known as the peritoneal mesothelioma. Virtually all cases are believed to be caused by exposure to asbestos. There are approximately 2,700 cases of mesothelioma diagnosed in the UK each year. The next one is asbestosis. Asbestosis is a type of pulmonary or lung scarring of the lungs caused by inhaling asbestos fiber or dust, often through exposure at work. It is benign or also can be said as non-cancerous condition. Unfortunately, the lung damage caused by the asbestos cannot be reversed and may continue to progress. Asbestosis can increase your risk of getting lung cancer. Last but not least is lung cancer. According to Cancer Research UK, lung cancer was the third most common cancer diagnosed in the UK in 2014. In most cases, it is caused by smoking. However, more than 10% of people with lung cancer have never smoked. It is recognized that being exposed to asbestos can increase your risk of developing lung cancer. That is all from me. Thank you.
Hello, okay. I'm going to explain about the subtopic 4, which is the environmental exposure of asbestos. So in this slide, I've prepared two pictures. So the first pictures I've inserted is a fishbone diagram. Okay, I'm going to explain about the fishbone diagram simply. So as we can see in the fishbone diagram, so we're going to start with the regulated asbestos, where we can see there mining, milling, manufacturing were being run. So from this regulated asbestos, it will causes neighborhood exposure. Not only that, it also will causes the environmental exposure. Okay, we back to the regulated asbestos. It will causes the workers' occupational exposure. From there, it also will causes para-occupational exposure. When the para-occupational exposure happens, automatically it is calculated as an environmental exposure. Not only that, there's also another two causes where will causes environmental exposure, which one of it is naturally occurring asbestos and other mineral fibers. Last but not least is the home related exposure, where appliances, insulation, construction, hobbies and handicrafts will also causes the environmental exposure. So the next picture is about the asbestos in our environment. So I'm going to explain about it one by one. So as we can see, for the first picture is a rock with asbestos veins sits atop white chrysotile fiber erosion. Next picture is the asbestos fibers on the ground near a mining site look like a snow. For the third picture is abandoned chrysotile asbestos mineral sample. Okay, last but not least, the last picture is about close-up of natural chrysotile fibers. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Last but not least, for the conclusion, through the four subtopics stated above, we can clearly see that how asbestos material affects on indoor air quality. Indoor air quality is very important because human beings spend at least half of their life indoors, where we sleep, eat, spending time with family, take bath, and so on. If we do not take serious of indoor air quality, it can be more harmful than outdoor air quality. Bad indoor air quality can bring us poor health effects and causing various main diseases. Asbestos has a big effect on indoor air quality, where it can cause pleural disease, mesothelioma, lung damage, nor cancer. Asbestos is worldwide because it comes from many forms such as ethnicnolite, amosite, entopylite, chrysotile, echidolite, and tremolite. I think that's all from us. Thank you.